Was that a cool shot? Probably. All right, let's cut to the chase here. My name's John. I'm 22 years old. It's currently October 25th, 2024. Just bought my mom her dream car she's been wanting for super long. I just bought my dream car that I've been wanting for super long. I quit my full-time job. I just graduated out of college and I've made over $100,000 profit cash in 6 months. Now, this isn't to brag, but it's to say you can do this. It's possible. We see these teenage millionaires all over YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and we all think, oh, they got lucky, daddy's money, all that kind of stuff. I'm a normal dude. I came from a small town. I didn't have money growing up, and I did it. I really did it. Whether you want to believe me or not, that's completely up to you, but I'm trying to be as authentic as possible. Now listen, the money itself is crazy, don't get me wrong, but I think the most important part of what I do is I have time freedom. I have location freedom, and of course, financial freedom. For example, today it's a beautiful day out. I'm not going to work. I'm not clocking in. I decided to make this video, and I have the freedom to do that. I don't have to request time off. It's my life. I have full control over it, which is crazy to think about. But it wasn't always like this. And let me take you back about 4 years. So the year is 2020. You all know what happened. It was the big COVID year. I just graduated high school and I had a clear vision of what I wanted to do. I wanted to fly airplanes. Now listen, I don't come from money, but I know what I wanted in life. I wanted the real American dream. Big house, nice cars, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, everything. I wanted all of it. And I was very lucky because my parents were very supporting of me. They told me I could do anything I want, put your mind to it, work hard, anything's possible. I was very lucky to be brought up in a very positive environment like that. And in my mind, being a pilot was the way to get there. I had the destination. I know what I want in life. Being a pilot was the way to get there. So I applied to one school in my local area that had aviation, and yeah, I got accepted. It's pretty sweet. So I started flying, and it was a lot of fun. It's actually kind of scary how easy it is to get into an airplane. Literally the first day, they're like, all right, you want to take off? I guess. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I was flying for a couple weeks, and at this point, my flight instructor told me, hey, by the way, go get your medical. Make sure you can legally fly, all right? I feel like I should have done that in the beginning, but hey, whatever. So I went to go get my medical test, and I failed it. Yeah, I only failed when it came to the color vision portion. So you see these images right here? I don't see anything. There's nothing to me there. It's just dots. I don't know what you guys see, if it's numbers or butterflies or shapes. I don't know. There's nothing to me. But I always knew I had some sort of color deficiency. I took a test with my local eye doctor. I passed that a couple years ago. But this was the real FAA test, and I failed. So this basically meant I couldn't fly at night. Newsflash, if a pilot can't fly at night, he's not making money. He's not getting a job. So that was a very difficult day. My dreams were crushed. You know, I thought to myself, I went to school, I got good grades, I stayed out of trouble, I'm in college now. I thought I was doing everything right to get the dream life. And I'm right here, I'm about to be a pilot, I'm about to fly, this is gonna be awesome. And then just like that, my dreams were stripped away from me. I was crushed. It was really hard on me, I'm not gonna lie. With this, it was freshman year in 2020. None of the dining halls were open, everyone wore masks. It was pretty bad. If you went to college at this time, you know what I'm talking about. So some people ask me, was that the worst day of my life? No, it was the best day of my life. At the time, I didn't know it, but that's the day that entrepreneurship sparked in my blood. It really was. Because I had this dream of everything I wanted. I wanted a beautiful wife, a ton of kids, nice house, nice car, the real lifestyle, the American dream. And I was gonna get it no matter what. Nothing was gonna stop me. So from there, I started researching like crazy. Because a lot of people live this dream, and I thought to myself, well, being a pilot wasn't the only way to do this, right? There has to be another way. Oh yeah, that's sick. I just flipped the camera out on the camera. Oh yeah, it looks really cool. All right, anyways. So yeah, this was the journey. This was the beginning of entrepreneurship for me. I studied everything. I looked into a ton of business models. It was pretty crazy. And at the time, I've done a few different businesses. I used to mow lawns. I used to plow people's driveways. I used to paint houses. You name it, I did it. A lot of side hustles. I used to drive around my town with a lawnmower in the back of my truck, just mowing random people's lawns. A lot of funny stories out of that. That's for another video. My first big light bulb moment was this app idea I had for colleges. And through my school, I was able to get assigned a mentor. And we met at a cafe, we talked about it, and he said, wow, John, this is actually a really good idea. This might work. That was such an amazing day. I was crying, tears of happiness, because I thought to myself, yes, I could still get the dream. It's still possible. So I worked on that app idea for probably a year, maybe 7-8 months, and it didn't work out. There was a lot of logistics in app development that I didn't know about that I researched. It was going to cost me around $300,000 just to start. Newsflash, I didn't have that money at that time. I was a broke college kid working a minimum wage job. Oh, I forgot to mention this. So when I found out I couldn't fly for my color vision, I was also researching on how to, researching to see if there's any other ways that I could get the test passed. So I found out there was this color vision test where you manually fly an aircraft with the instructor next to you. You fly throughout the air. He points at the ground saying, what color is that? If you pass that, you can actually override the initial violation on your medical. But because this was COVID and everyone was afraid of being within 5 feet with each other, I couldn't get that test scheduled until 3 years later. It even took me a year to figure out the test existed. So for 3 years in school, I was in limbo of, can I fly? I'm not sure. It was my dream at the time, but I knew there was a possibility it wouldn't work out. So I went all in on business, a bunch of different ones. So after I found out the app idea wouldn't work, I did a few different things, but my buddy and I, we actually came up with a really cool idea. We noticed that cars were getting broken into. A place like San Francisco, people were smashing the windows and taking stuff out of there. And there wasn't a solution that existed yet. Don't steal this idea. But from there, I took that idea and I developed my own car security system with it. And I actually entered this into a Shark Tank styled event at my school, and I won first prize for it. I think I got $3,000 from it, which was a lot of money to me back then. I only had $3,000 in my bank account. He doubled it. So I was super excited, and I pursued that idea for, I'd say, a little over a year. I reached out to over 100 different companies. It was a crazy experience. I built bunch of prototypes. I was at work prototyping on the van that we had. Everyone at work was looking at me like, what are you doing? But that was a huge inspiration in my entrepreneurship career, because I thought to myself, this could actually work. If I sell a bunch of these, if I actually help people out, if I get contracts with the government, I can make a lot of money during this. And most importantly, I can really make an impact on the world. So I worked on that idea for about a year. It wasn't really going anywhere. I was reaching out to a bunch of companies. 99% of them were rejecting me. Every once in a while, someone would be interested. We schedule a meeting. They say that's really cool, but I never heard from them again. At this point, I thought to myself, all right, well, I'm pursuing this idea, but I should probably start doing something on the side, just in case. He's looking for a fail-safe to a fail-safe to a fail-safe. So at the time, I started looking into online business. We see all these millionaire kids online that do drop shipping, social media, client acquisition, all that kind of stuff. I thought to myself, well, maybe I can start. So I actually started doing drop shipping, and I lost a lot of money. Doing that. I think I made about 3 stores. All of them ended up failing. But nevertheless, I learned a lot of valuable skills. And the most important thing, I made a TikTok account. And once all the dropshipping stores failed, there was one that I was kind of working on, but I was losing hope. I was losing money on every ad that I made. And this was a big one. January of 2024, life hit me pretty hard. So the new year just came over, and I remember thinking to myself, what is my New Year's resolution? And I told myself, I want to make at least $10,000 a month. Everyone says once you make 10K a month, that's the freedom number. That's when you can start traveling. That's when life really starts to change. So that was my goal, make 10K a month. Early January, at this point, I was paying for my college education in cash. I saved up a lot of money before I went to college, and to see all of it get drained out because I was taking from my savings account into college was pretty sad. I only had about $3,000 left. I got hit with 3 massive bills in a week. So I had to pay for my college education. I think that was about $1,000 to $2,000. My truck, my Ford Ranger, I'll put a picture of it right here. The front just fell apart. I needed new wheel bearings. I needed new tie rods. I needed an upper control arm. It needed a lot of work done. Luckily, I was handy at cars, and I've built a lot of cars at this point. But I got quoted at the mechanics to get it fixed for $1,700. I bought the truck for $1,200. I ain't paying $1,700 to get it fixed. So I bought the parts myself. I think that was around $700, $800, and I spent 2 nights fixing it. Bolts were rusted. I was hitting with a hammer. It was pretty difficult. So at this point, I only have about a couple $100 in my bank account, and it's the first of the month. You know what that means? Rent was due. I was already a few days late on it. My landlord, he's a cool guy. Shout out to you if you're watching. But yeah, he said, oh yeah, just pay me within the week. You'll be fine. I had no money. I had to pay rent. And on top of that, I need to pay for groceries. I got to pay for books. Yeah, that was another thing. I had to pay for books for the classes, which you never use. My app idea solves that, by the way, if I ever pursue it again. But yeah, I had to pay around $700 for books. That included some subscription, which should all be included. That's another rant for another day. But yeah, I had no money. And I remember I was in the kitchen of my apartment, and I was looking at my bank account, and I was staring at it. The 1,000-mile stare. That stare I was doing just... I don't have this money. I need it, though. What do I do? And I remember my roommates coming to me thinking, John, what's wrong? Like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm fucking broke. I'm broke. What do I do? You know? And I remember ranting, I guess you can say, saying, why am I broke? I'm 20 at the time. Yeah, I was 21 years old. I should have more money by now. What's going on? And I remember this, one of my roommates told me, he's like, well, John, we're college students. What do you expect? And that just hit me. And I thought to myself, why should I accept this? Yes, I'm in college, but why does that mean I have to be broke? I'm 22. I'm 21 years old. I'm at the height of my capabilities. I'm physically fit. I'm physically strong. I'm mentally strong. I could do more than this. I don't deserve to have no money in my bank account. Now, of course, some people are going to call me materialistic for saying, oh, money's everything. Money's not everything. Of course it's not. But when rent's due, rent's due. So from that moment, I was at rock bottom. And it could have been worse. I acknowledge that. It could always be worse. But with that being said, I needed to make money now. Oh, I forgot to mention this part too. So 3 years later at this point, I think it was around November 2023, I got the color vision test scheduled finally for my flight test. I went up in an airplane and we flew, pointed at the ground, all that kind of stuff. I passed it. I actually passed the test. I was super happy. I was super ecstatic. I'm like, let's go. We're actually going to be able to fly now. So I started my flight lessons again. This is going to sound dumb, but I got motion sick really bad. Every time I would fly the aircraft, I would throw up in a bag. Seriously, I felt really bad for my instructor. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. I know those barf bags were nasty. But yeah, every time I flew, I got motion sick. And with the FAA, you can't take Dramamine. You can't take any drugs because, well, you're flying an airplane. I get it. So every single time I flew, I just threw up in a bag. And we just had to land because I don't want to fly around with a vomit bag next to him. I don't blame you at all. But the issue was every time you flew, you had to get a certain amount of lessons done. But I couldn't get them done because I kept throwing up during all of the lessons. I was actually a legend at my flight school for the wrong reasons because I was known as the kid that just kept throwing up in all the airplanes. Oh, man. And every single time I flew, that was $300 out of my pocket. I was paying for this cash, just draining my bank account. And it finally came to the point where I sat down with the chief flight instructor, really nice guy, and he told me, John, listen, I'm willing to keep letting you fly. You're just giving us money, but I feel bad, man. Like, you're just flying, you're not getting any lessons done, and you're just throwing up. Do you think flying is right for you? And you know what? At this point, I've kind of given up on my flight career. It's been 3 years of me thinking limbo. Oh, am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? So I made the choice that I'm no longer going to fly. And that really hurt. It did. But now that pressure was on because I had a semester left of school and I had no direction. So this ties into the January event that happened right after where I was completely broke. I was locked in for the next semester. I tell you, I never left the house. I only went to school. I went to work. I went to the gym. Other than that, I hung out with nobody. I was in the house on my computer 24/7 looking for a business model that finally works. You can ask one of my buddies. He invited me to a party. I never said yes to parties because, I had other things to focus on. But I told myself, you know what, I'll go out once. School's about to end. I might as well go to one. And it was funny because for the first 10 minutes, I was saying hi to everyone. And for the rest of it, I was in the corner just on my phone looking at my dropshipping store, see if I made any sales. So that was pretty funny. Side story. So March of 2024, I was going through YouTube looking at, YouTube videos talking about business. And I found this video talking about TikTok Shop. Now, at this point, I didn't even have TikTok installed. I thought to myself, oh, okay, so basically, if you scroll through TikTok and you ever see the orange link, if you click that link and buy that product through that guy's video, that guy gets commission. I thought to myself, oh, wow, this is a really cool business model. Let's give it a shot. So I downloaded TikTok. I logged into my old TikTok account that I used for dropshipping. Oh, wait, that's a lie. I had TikTok because of dropshipping. Sorry about that. So I logged into my dropshipping account. I privated all my dropshipping videos and I started a TikTok shop account. I made my first dollar online March 13th. I have a screenshot of it right here. I was ecstatic. I was jumping up and down. I thought to myself, wow, this might actually work. I just made money with this TikTok app. So from there, I went full in. I started ordering products. I did product research every day. I ended up making $700 in the month of March profit. That paid for my rent. And I think that was the moment that cemented it. I told myself, yep, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Officially, this is what I want to do. So for the next few months, I really just locked in. March, we made 700. April, we only made 300. I was trying a different business model. Didn't work out. Lesson learned. But it was May that changed everything. So at this point, I only had a few weeks left before I graduated school. Now, I had a job with the school, meaning once I graduated, I didn't have a job anymore. And I still have rent to pay. I still have bills to pay. So I actually applied for a ramp position at an airline in Boston. Is it what I wanted to do? No. But it's what a lot of people told me I should do out of college. And I told myself, you know what? I'll take the job. Once the business starts taking off, I'll make my decision from there. So May, I graduated school. It was a good day. I was happy. I saw all my friends. I had a good time. My grandparents from Japan came down. We rented a minivan and we went on a little road trip. We drove all the way to Virginia to meet my brother, and it was a lot of fun. The night before I left for that road trip, I filmed a silly little TikTok video. It was on a portable printer. I printed some funny stuff. I put it on my toolbox, and I thought nothing of it. I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. And while we're in Virginia, I was at this hotel, and I was about to go to bed. But I thought to myself, you know what? I'll just film one more video. Thank God I did, because that video changed my life. It really did. So the original video with the printer started getting a lot of views. At this point, each video got around 300, 500 views. This video was at, I think it was around 10,000 views. I've never seen that in my life. I thought to myself, wow, this is crazy. TikTok, you could do comment replies on very viral videos, and those videos have a high chance of going viral. So I remember I made a comment reply, and I made a funny video. And this was something I just thought of, I was about to go to bed. I told myself, you know what, I'll just make one more video. Why not? So that video, I went to the hotel gym because no one's in there. I made a funny video. I printed a bunch of silly stuff. I went to bed. I woke up. I went to my brother's house. We had a great time. Checked the video. It had around 10,000 views as well. And I thought to myself, wow, this is pretty cool. Now, I should point out, at this point, I was averaging about $5, $10, even $20 a day with TikTok Shop, which to me was crazy. That's gas money. That's food. That's part of rent, And the next morning, we got up early because we had to drive from Virginia all the way back to Boston to finish the road trip. I'll post a screenshot of it right here. That morning, I woke up to $300 profit, cash, in my TikTok account. That video in the hotel blew up. It started getting hundreds of thousands of views out of nowhere. I was so happy. I woke up and thought to myself, wow, I made $300 while I was sleeping. By the way, I only made about $10,000 every year before this. It was a college job. What do you expect? So that day we got in the van, we started driving. As we're driving, I kept checking my phone in secret. 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. I was making hundreds of dollars every hour. It was crazy. We eventually pulled over at a gas station to get gas, and I checked my earnings. I made $1,000 in a couple hours that day. I was so happy. All while I was driving a car. Crazy. And it gets better from there. I still had 9 hours left to drive. So as we're driving, I kept checking. 1.2, 1.3, 1.5, 1.7. I finished that night off when I got home at midnight in Boston at $2.1 thousand made that day. I made $2,000 in a day. I didn't make that a month before. That's crazy. I think that was the day that really cemented my belief in entrepreneurship and the fact that I could do it. I thought to myself, yep, this is what I'm going to do now. The craziest part is I averaged about $1,000 every day after that. 1.2, 1.9, 2.7. Oh, wait, no, that was a different day. But yeah, it was crazy. I was making a lot of money every day. And we finished that month at $11.8 thousand profit, cash. I did it. May 2024, I officially hit 10K a month. And it has not been lower since. Crazy, huh? Now, I should mention at this point, I started working at my airline job because I thought to myself, well, it might have just been lucky. I might not make this money again. I might as well get a safe job. And I already got accepted a month prior.
It's July 24th. I gotta make more money so I can get out of this. But what we're doing for now. Trust the process. You're working hard, John. Just keep going at it.
So I started working this job and I was miserable. I hated it so much. It wasn't that the job itself was hard, which it kind of was, you know. Lobsters are heavy, and I had to yeet those things in the airplane. And I remember waking up super early, going to the bus stop, getting in this uniform with these tight boots that barely fit, driving in the bus kept stopping and going. I was getting car sick in the bus, dropped off at the airport, and for some reason my ID card never came in, so I had to get a chaperone. I felt like a kid. I was like, what is going on? And if you ever looked outside the airplane and you see those guys running around with bags, tugs, all that kind of stuff, that was me. I was doing that. And listen, when I was in high school, that job might have been cool, but I went to school, college, for 4 years, spent tons of money there to work an entry-level job as a ramp agent. Bro, I was miserable. I thought so low of myself at the time. Well, you know what? No. I knew the potential I had, and then I saw what I was actually doing. I thought to myself, what is going on? And to be honest, one of the biggest reasons I was there is to please my family, to be honest. It wasn't my mom. My mom supported a lot of the decisions I made. She believed in me. She trusted me. Not to say everyone else didn't. I had some family figures that helped me along. I had a lot of people in my family I looked up to, and they were the reason I went to college in the first place. And they told me, oh, just stay at the job for a couple years, see how you like it. Bro, I was there for a day. I hated it. The only thing that's going to happen if I stay there for years is I'm going to become complacent, and I'm going to be forced to stay there. So I didn't like this job. I was jamming my fingers. I was under the aircraft. I was banging my head. I was sweating. I was pretty miserable. I thought to myself, I can do better than this. Why did I go to school for this? And not for nothing, I wanted to be a pilot. And something about waving the sticks at the pilots, saluting them, doing everything for them, and not being where I was supposed to be behind in the cockpit, actually flying the thing, it really hurt me. It really did. I was looking at the airplane and thought to myself, I did everything right. Why am I down here? I should be up there. I was debating to myself, should I quit this job? Should I stay here? Oh, if I quit, my family's going to be disappointed, but I'm disappointed with myself because I'm here. I was debating with a lot of stuff at the time, and this one moment finalized my decision. I remember one day, it was a particularly annoying day. I jammed my fingers at the time. I banged my head. I fell off one of the ladders. I wasn't in the best mood. It was also very hot out, and I ran out of water, and I couldn't go inside. I finished loading up a bunch of suitcases in this airplane, put it on the conveyor belt. I was exhausted. And I remember I looked up and I saw this little kid just staring at me through the window, right? And then, almost like it's a movie, a flashback played in my head. It really happened. It was crazy. It really just happened like this. I remember when I was a little kid, maybe 9 years old. My mom's from Japan. So we used to fly to Japan every once in a while to go visit, right? It was pouring. It was a terrible day out. And I remember sitting in the airplane looking out the window. I got my blanket over me, my little apple juice, right? Living a good life. And I was looking out the window and I saw all these ramp workers drenched in the rain. The rain was pouring down. They were soaked. It was cold out. And I thought to myself, I remember thinking to myself, as I'm staring out the window as a little kid, I have to go to college and work hard, stay out of drugs and all that kind of bad stuff so I don't end up in a position like that. A decade later, here I am in a position like that with a little kid staring at me. I remember just looking at the kid and I thought, what happened? I'm exactly where I didn't want to be. I didn't do drugs. I went to school. I was a good kid. I did everything right. Why am I here? It really hurt me. But thank God it happened to me because that was the day I decided I'm quitting. I'm done. And luckily at the time, everything happens for a reason. God bless. I checked my TikTok earnings. That same day I checked it, I made over $1,000 that day in the background of working my normal job. And I just looked around, I thought to myself, what am I doing? I'm making money. The only reason I'm here is so my family doesn't think low of me, my friends don't think low of me. Oh, this kid quit his job, blah, blah, blah. So this comes to show, guys, stop caring what other people have to think. Stop caring about what other people have to say, what they think. If you're confident in yourself, if you know you're a good person and what you're doing is in the right spot, go for it. Go for it. because it held me back for so long. I love these people that look after me. I love them. I love them so much. But sometimes you have to say, I love you, I appreciate the advice, but this is what I want to do. I know you're not going to like it. I know you're going to call me dumb, but trust me, I'm going to make this work. And that's exactly what I did that day. I quit that job. Also, the people there, everyone was really nice, by the way. I just want to say that. I told them my situation. They're very understanding. So I quit that job. And I have never looked back since. Since I quit that job, I was able to go full into my business. I was able to spend more time product researching, more time making videos. I locked into my business. I went all into it, and I was making a lot of money. I think I finished that month at $22,000 profit, and the month after that, I made 40 grand profit. That was the time where I thought to myself, you know what? I made the right choice. And yeah, ever since then, it's been up and down, but it's never fell below 10K a month. It's been well above that. And I'm happy to say, as of October 2024, I have made well over $100,000 profit with TikTok Shop. 6 months, 100 grand. That's not too bad. And all of this is without a boss, without a schedule I have to follow, without vacation time, without commuting. Everything is on my own schedule. Everything's to my own accord. So at this point, I was able to buy my dream car. I was able to buy my mom her dream car. And I'm able to pay off all my student debt, all my student loans. I have enough money for everything and then some. And is this to show off? Absolutely not. It's to show you I'm a normal guy with no special background that was able to do this. So why am I making this YouTube channel? Why am I making this video? I want you guys to win too. I want to let you guys know this is possible. I used to be one of the guys scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, seeing all these rich, successful entrepreneur kids, 18-year-olds, and thought to myself, wow, if only I could be like that someday. Well, today's that day. I have complete time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. And the craziest part, this is just the beginning. TikTok Shop hasn't even been out for a year. You kidding me? In 4 years, this is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry. I'm telling you right now, $1 trillion in a few years. This industry is going to be huge. If you're watching this 2024, 2025, you're lucky. This is going to be big. I'm telling you right now. I'll post this video again when I have everything I want, when I have the Porsche, when my mom is retired, when everything's all said and done, I will repost this video and say, yeah, I was right. I was right. Main purpose of this channel, it's a few different things. Number one, I just want to document my journey. A lot of entrepreneurs, their biggest regret is they didn't document their journey enough. I'm only 22 years old. When I'm seeing this when I'm 25, 30 years old, I'm going to be so happy that I started just to film this. And the second thing I want to do with this channel is, well, to help you guys out. I'm just starting out. And if I could build a community of people that I can change their lives for, that's amazing. We have all this technology in today's world, so I'm very excited to do this. I'm going to be teaching you how to do TikTok Shop, how I'm successful at it, how to pick products, all that kind of stuff, and overall just teaching you my mentality that got me here and that's going to get me to wherever else I want to go, you know? With that being said, this is my first YouTube video. I'm very excited for this journey. Good luck, everyone. God bless. Get to work.